In this PowerPoint tutorial, I'll be showing you how to create stunning graphics like this car here using nothing but PowerPoint shapes, which was actually a video request by fellow YouTuber HondaPro Jason, who I actually got to sit next to on a flight down to this year's presentation summit. Very friendly fellow, that Jason. We talked about YouTube videos, our jobs, and of course, cars. So I promised him that in my next video tutorial, I'd throw in a Honda car, just for him and his fans. So here it is. Now, you don't have to be a graphic artist or a designer to create a PowerPoint graphic like this. You just have to be good at tracing a picture. Now, all artists out there learn this way by copying and tracing the photographs or artwork of others. That's how we first learn. It's like our training wheels. Yes, eventually we all have to take the training wheels off and create our own designs, but we've got to start somewhere. So first, we're going to need an inspiration photograph. I like using the PowerPoint add-in called Pexels. Now, if you don't know how to download add-ins from the Office store, check out the link in the information area below the video on YouTube. Now, what's nice about the Pexels add-in is that all artwork contained within this add-in falls under the Creative Commons Zero license, which means pictures are free for personal and commercial use, and you can modify, copy, and distribute the photos without asking for permission or attributing the source. Now, to search for pictures, you can simply type in a keyword up here, like, for example, the word car, and click that search button, and then search for any type of photo, like a car. Or you can even save your favorites. Now, I have a lot of favorite photographs here. I really like this guy. If you were my personal trainer, I think that last 5 pounds or 25 pounds would be really easy to lose. But here I have some cars. So if I wanted to, say, slap that photograph right on the slide here, all I have to do is select that slide, tap on that picture, and my designer window pops up, which makes it really easy to resize that photograph. Now, I'm not going to use designer, so I'm just going to hit that X up top to close that window. And once I have the photograph inserted, I no longer need the Pexels add-in open, taking up that real estate space. Now, once you have your photograph as that design inspiration, we're going to be staying on that Insert tab to be using our illustration tools here, mainly the Shapes tools. Now, the one that I like to use the most is this one right here, the Freeform Shape tool. Clicking on that will turn your pointer into that cross, or that plus sign. And basically what happens here, whenever you click your mouse and keep clicking, it will create a shape once you bring that pointer back to the original starting point. Let me just delete that real quick. So zooming in on the car here, I'm going to start with that freeform tool just to get a quick and dirty outline of the car. In fact, let me zoom out just a little bit so I can see the full outline of the car. There we go. So here we go, clicking our first point, and the next, just click, click, click all the way around. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to be editing these points a little bit. Now, I'm going to go around the wheel well, and we don't want to do this perfect. So I'm just going to do the top of the crescent here, and then down. Again, don't want it to be perfect. And then straight line there, top of the crescent there, there, all the way around. I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to see me click all of these points in slow motion. Now, once you get to the very end, you want to make sure you get right on that first point to see that shape fill in. It'll kind of be ghosted. Click again, and there's our outline. Now, once we have that quick and dirty outline, now it's time to go in and edit our points. So right-clicking on that shape, go to that shortcut menu about halfway down, you'll see the option to edit points. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Every single stopping point where you clicked on that to create that point, that is an editable point. Taking your mouse, clicking on that point, let me zoom in here just a little bit. Here you can see that wheel well a little bit more closely. Now, every single point can be one of several types of points. Right-clicking on a point, you can see those types down here. It can be a smooth point, a straight point, or by default, a corner point. A corner point allows you to manually adjust how each corner behaves, usually straight by default. But if you want a smooth, curved, rounded segment like that wheel well, we can change that to a smooth point. And then you can adjust how big that smooth curve is around that point, or even adjust its angle. Now for a wheel well, we want to grab hold of the corner points just to the side of it and adjust how rounded that is here to match the curvature alongside it. Now let me zoom out just a bit. It's kind of hard to see through our shape. So what I like to do is to adjust the transparency of that shape by going to Format Shape and just adjusting the transparency just a little bit, maybe about 30%, just so I can see how I'm editing my points a little bit better. Now you can see where it overlaps versus where it doesn't. And basically that is one method to go through all of the points to fine-tune them to get that perfect shape outline. And that's basically the process that you'd be doing for each individual shape that you see on the car. See, every single object is made up of little tiny shapes. This handle here, this shine here, the wheel itself, the fender, the lights, all of these are little teeny tiny shapes. And basically using that freeform tool, you can go through and trace the outline of it. Yeah, it's gonna take a lot of time. It's gonna take a lot of patience. And if you've got 2 kids like me, those 2 things might be a little on short supply. But it is a wonderful practice to get into to fine-tune and hone your PowerPoint drawing skills. So edit points is one way that you can do it, but there are other tools in PowerPoint that you can use. For example, this wheel well right here. Another way is to take another shape or another object and cut out one shape from another. So we can kind of get a rounded object from here. It's a little bit harder with this particular wheel well. But just to give you an idea, we can fit this circle kind of to what this wheel well looks like, just a little bit. There we go, that's a little bit better. Select this shape, hold down my Control key, select the second shape, and then on the Drawing Tools Format tab and the Insert Shapes group, if you're using PowerPoint 2016, you'll see this Merge Shapes option. And from there, you'll have all of these different tools at your disposal for how you can combine or subtract these shapes. Now down at the bottom is this option to subtract a shape. Basically, whatever object you selected second, that shape will be subtracted from that first shape you selected. So if I choose that option, notice how it cut that circle or that oval out from that car wheel well. And that just it's a little time saver for editing the points later. It's still not perfect, but I can come in here, delete this point, delete that point, or maybe keep it, and maybe just move this around a little bit more just to go through and fine tune what I see here. And you can see sometimes it doesn't quite behave how you want. So it really does require some playing around with these points. And that is the general idea for how you go about creating this. That's the process anyway. Now, I wouldn't recommend starting with something that's quite so detailed or so complicated. You might want to start with a simpler object like a cartoon car. This picture I downloaded from Shutterstock, and it is a picture, which means I can't really ungroup it into a shape. But you see, there aren't that many shapes or shadows. It's a lot easier and cleaner to duplicate or copy or trace rather than a real life photograph. But I'm going to jump back to this car and finish what I started and put it on super fast speed so you can see exactly what the process is for tracing an image just like this.